Yes. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are in the globe. This is your darling program, The Comrade and Friends, a segment of your popular program, The Comrade Show. Remember to follow us regularly on TCSblog. Today, the 3rd of September 2023, promises to be a very, very interesting one. We've got lots of issues to discuss today. We shall be looking at the national level, but we'll be talking more about Edo State and the just concluded 2023 local government elections across the 18 local governments. Do not touch that dial. We'll be with you in a moment.
Comrade Show, wait, Comrade Lamte Oriaki. This is the Comrade Show.
Yes, thank you so much, viewers, friends, and beautiful viewers of the Comrade Show. It is your darling program, The Comrade and Friends. In the intro, I mentioned that we shall be talking more about Edo State today, and if time permits, we'll talk about the coup d'etat that took place very recently in Gabon and the coup issues currently sweeping Africa, and indeed, I dare say, West Africa. But I'm not alone to do justice to today's program. I have the Commander-in-Chief of the Comrade Show, no other but Comrade Lanti Ponsaraki. Comrade Lanti, can you say hello to our wonderful people today, the 3rd of September 2023?
Thank you very much, Comrade Pharmacist Austin Iremira. Yes, Nigerians, viewers of the Comrade Show, greetings to you all. Please don't go far away. It is the Comrade Show. Stay with us and help share the broadcast. God bless you all for joining. Over to you, Pharmacist.
Thank you so much, Comrade Lanti. It's been a long time that I saw your head with your bar head everywhere. For the last 2 programs, you've had your traditional serious, we call it gele now, or your cap on, but you're looking very beautiful. Comrade Lanti, there is a lot to talk about today. We want to zero in on Edo State 2023 just concluded elections, less than 24 hours. But before that, there's something very important that I want to share. I think it was earlier today or yesterday you did a broadcast, which in my view is causing ripples. And I have been between 6 and 7 thinking of what I can make out of it. I must say that what you said is really palpable, it is real. And I think it's not only you caught in the web, there are so many other Nigerians, especially those in diaspora, that are also in that situation as well. Because I believe that leadership is for everybody. And if we all play a part, we can help shaping our country. And in that your video earlier on today, you said you need help. And you chronicled the story of a friend that is a benefactor to you and you've been helping modestly and with not grabbing headlines. But that person is in Nigeria at the moment and is going through the torments, difficulties, and wahala that everybody is facing. But yet, in the face of all this, where is seeking help from yourself and you've been rendering that help, and I don't think you want to stop, you were also surprised that because government play a very important role in everything we do. Yeah. And that gentleman, your friend, is now singing praises of the government that is being dealt with. It reminds me of Animal Farm. I know a lot of people must have, this is not the topic we are speaking on today, but it's partly part of it. I know a few people must have reached you. And what do you have to say? Have you taken time yourself to even look at the video you put out today?
No. When I woke up, normally when I come back from work, I try to find some space to sleep. But when I woke up, I was really amazed. I was surprised. I've had more than 12 missed calls. I've had, I don't know, countless number of voice messages. People just expressing different opinions. Surprisingly, very good friends of mine have expressed different opinions. Some are like, don't stop. Some are like, oh, you have to stop. Person is not deserving of these. Different opinions. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm surprised that in the last hour or so, I discovered that the thing has generated well over 250 comments. As a matter of fact, before I started this program, before we got started now, over 300 comments. People, all different, I'm reading through. Some are making me laugh, and himself, the young man in question himself has, I was telling you off camera, he has tried to ring me. He has rang me like twice, apparently when I was asleep, but I've not had time to to return his call. I'm going back to work, like you know, after this broadcast. Hopefully, on my way to work, I'm going to get back to him. But I think I'm very thankful to people that are, have had time to say something. Everybody's opinion is very right. You understand what I'm saying now and all of that, because everybody's standing on different platform to look at it. But I believe that before daybreak, I'm going to make a decision on that. There are overwhelming decisions about don't stop because it's not about the man, it's about the child, which is very true. There are others who expressed similar experiences where people just take, particularly those of us who live outside of the country, take us for granted because we're able to stand in the gap and all of that. There are others who are saying, look, the issue of politics must not come between you and your friend. This person has, because you are supporting his child, doesn't mean he must not have his own political ideology. You understand? And I think such people who I respect those ideas, but just that those people seem to mix the idea. I am not fighting anybody with a political ideology at all. As a matter of fact, I respect people who ideologically believe, okay, in the right things. You understand? But I think the question really is believing in what happened yesterday at the local government elections. For me, an ideology is flawed. You understand the picture of what I'm saying now? But if we call that an ideology, then there's no use believing that we must have a country that should change. You understand? What we have seen is proper fraud, and this fraud is the foundation to why we are not succeeding as a people, why our nation is not growing, why we are not living this web of decadence. So at the end of the day, I think that's my quarrel. I worry that people of my age, my generation, okay, they are the ones who are helping to sustain this fraudulence. Everybody's calling Obaseki just now. I call him Obaseki because Obaseki is the leader of the state whose ideology can influence the state. But the people who are on the ground to perpetuate whatever ideology is coming from the PDP or all of these other political parties, as it were, they are young people like myself. You understand? At the end of the day, they are the ones who are going to come out and start crying that the nation is not working, that they are suffering, that they are doing this, that this and that is happening to them. And yet, on the flip side, they are the ones helping, the people who hold the power to perpetuate all of this crime. So that is the standpoint, that if a friend of mine like this cannot see exactly what the issues are with our country, you understand what I'm saying, and play so little part, then why are we killing ourselves? Because right now, I'm trying to re-examine, my own commitments personally, just my little contribution towards a better Nigerian state. And I see a whole lot of other people who are clapping. As we speak right now, people are already on social media clapping for the successful, selection of local government chairmen, with a lot of grounds left, for questioning. So
anyway, I know we're going to get to that. I just want to say that for our viewers, I would recommend that we look at that 12 to 13 minutes video that was done by Comrade Lamte Ponsaraki earlier on today, in which he asked for help. I think that will form the bedrock of our discussion. I think, Comrade Lamte, you are not alone. I think there are so many people who in diaspora who are also in that situation.
Yeah.
But I love you for speaking out and saying it. What my advice to you would be, it's a difficult one, like many people have given. I would say you've made a commitment, fulfill the commitment this time, and then take the call of the gentleman just to hear from him as well. Probably in life we learn every day. He may not have been as educated in that level. So this will form the basis for you to educate him. And you may just be changing another citizen and making that person better. But I must say, it takes courage for what you've done. And I think our viewers will listen to it and make up their own mind. But don't allow anything happen to your friendship for the sake of politics. I am beginning to learn that Nigeria politics is so different. And like Dele Farotimi said, do not die indeed in their war. I just wanted to put that in, but I believe in the course of our discussion today, we might also talk about that. Friends and viewers of the Comrade Show, all Edolites like Ambassador Matthew Biki Wifo would always say, we really want to talk about Edo State. Edo State is our own. And it was only 3 years ago, or just will be 3 years soon, that we all came out in full drive to give our support to the current governor of Edo State, Governor Godwin Obaseki. I remember most of us were not PDP members. Till now, we are not. We followed the governor because of the situation that happened then. We thought and believed that Governor Godwin Obaseki would be the hope for Edo Light. In some aspects, I think he has fulfilled that, but in many aspects, I think he hasn't. And in the course of our discussion when we first started, I said that I was going to judge Governor Godwin Obaseki on 3 things. One of them was the rule of law. And I wasn't very happy that he didn't follow it very well. Stemmed from the fact that it took a long time for commissioners to be announced. And when they were announced, they were not announced. They were announced in patches and all that stuff. He's been fighting loads and loads of battle. Some of them in good cause, some not so good. But I think in the aspect of finishing well, I would have expected the governor to use the 2023 local government election as a final test. And like you know, Edo State is very savvy. Most times we don't vote party, we vote individuals. Perhaps maybe the individuals currently in PDP are better off. But the news coming from Edo State is not palatable, except if you are part of those that have been declared winners. But many people are saying that largely across the 18 local governments, in most of the local governments, in most of the wards, there were no election. One wonder where these results have come from. But congratulations to the PDP. They've declared 18 local governments of the 18 local governments in those states. The PDP-led administration, headed by Governor Godwin Obaseki, seem to have swept the day. Probably the mantra is, if you don't like the result, go indeed to court. But personally, I think Governor Godwin Obaseki would have done it very differently. I see him as a man that is very savvy. But it seems to me that once you get into politics in Nigeria, you have no option but indeed to join them. So, Komilante Pahosa Araki, 18/18 for PDP across the 18 local government of Edo State. What is your immediate reaction?
Well, my immediate reaction is it's more of a question. How long are we going to continue on this road? When are we going to start singing a new song that at least the fight of yesteryears, the fight that has extended to this day, is at least sinking in and we are getting victorious to have a better state? How long are we going to continue on this road? It is not a Governor Baseki's problem. It is all of our problems. Because at the end of the day, Governor Baseki is just playing by the scripts that he has been baptized into. Some people have asked us to remind us that even this friend of mine we're talking about earlier, on his own, status, that Oshomole cleared 18/18, and so therefore Governor Baseki has done well, which means that for any political party in power, and all of that, it is a duty to do what has just been done. And, and again, why ask people to go through the rudiments of paying money to buy forms, campaigns, stress their lives, when the results are just going to be written and declared somewhere? Election where there was no result declared at any polling unit. Election where, it's on record that the NSEC gave out 100 ballot papers to each of the 4,000 or thereabout polling units, and yet result of over 300,000 is being declared. When if going by 100, we probably should not have more than 40-something thousand, 50,000. A local government, 99,000 results was declared in total. You understand what I'm saying now? And I can speak for a local government because I have people everywhere on the ground. Okay, for the 400 polling units in the local government, election did not take place in more than 40 of them. You understand? And even in that 40 where election looked like it took place, it was a case of 100 ballot papers shared to each of those polling units. It was a case of You have some of these ballot papers around. You don't have INEC officials around. You have INEC officials in some places. You don't have the ballot papers in some places. So all of these testimonies and bad, and yet 91,000 results were declared. For places where elections did not take place, results were declared in all of those polling units. So at the end of the day, I think it is more questions to ask than solutions to be profiled. However, if the judiciary will be the last hope of the common man, it may not yet be Uhuru. You understand? On two different fronts. This has been a flawed election. More than that, the legacy PDP, they call them, okay, they have a case in court against all the people PDP have brought out. You know, those ones have actually gone to court to see that Governor Obaseki's selection of this current crop of candidates of the PDP was illegally done, and that case is in court, it's pending. You understand what I'm saying? Now, so there are so many, there's still a lot, of road to go. The tide against these selected guys is still, a huge one. You understand? So at the end of the day, come what may, it is all just questions, and more questions. Because at the end of the day, we had it yesterday under Oshomole. Somebody reminded me to say, oh, Oshomole did a similar thing. Why must Obaseki so be different? And my response was that Oshomole left power 7 years ago. We elected and supported Governor Obaseki to come and correct the inadequacies of Oshomole. But what we are probably seeing, particularly in this electoral matter, Obaseki's administration has probably perfected on the illegalities that we quarrel with for Oshomole. And another question in mind is, has Obaseki now firmly become the godfather that we fought against in his own time? There are so many questions that we need to ask. And so much to our hearts.
Yeah, thank you so much, Comrade Lamte. I love the way you put it there. I must say that I encountered Governor Godwin Obaseki in 2016 when he came to the United Kingdom for a seminar and a symposium. And indeed, I fell in love with him. And that's why I felt that we need a change. I didn't want us to go back again to Egypt. But from the reports and feelers we are getting, it seems so. If you don't mind, I just want to take a comment by, I think it's Stella Erogai, who is saying that there was no election in Edo State. And Olori Collins is saying this was what is called election and nonsense conducted yesterday by Governor Godwin Obaseki. Olori Collins is also saying that Obaseki is the problem. Look at local government elections Nasir El-Rufai conducted in Kaduna State. Kaduna State you consider to be a very, very difficult state with religion. Even opposition parties won some of the local government. What is the victory of 18/18 when there's no benefit indeed to the people? So wherever you stand, whether you are PDP, APC, or Labour Party, it is still Edo State people. I think the challenge is always wanting to get this 18/18 for what? What does it give to the people? I think if I were to be a governor, I would prefer to have a balanced local government where you have oppositions and you are able to allow them to work. At the end of the day, you indeed will take all the glory. But Comrade Lamte, why are we calling Governor Godwin Obaseki? What has he done? Governor Godwin Obaseki is only the elected governor of Edo State. We have the chairman of INEC. Why? Why are we calling Obaseki? What is the relationship between Governor Godwin Obaseki and the Edo State INEC? We have the chairman of the INEC. So what is it?
Well, in the first place, at a glance, maybe people should be calling me instead of Obaseki. Is that it? The Benema says, when you are looking for the eye of an animal, you go to the head. Obaseki is the chief security officer of Edo State. Obaseki is the chief economic officer of Edo State. Obaseki is the #1 citizen politically of Edo State. Obaseki is where Edo political essence starts from and even ends with right now. Obaseki is the man that Edo State people gave the mandate to manage our collective patrimony. And so if anything is wrong with our patrimony, at this time, Obaseki is the man that we must ask. Obaseki is the overseer right now, general overseer of Edo State. So Obaseki is the man whose words are policy and who must create the enabling environment for every other thing to thrive, including elections, including economy, including security. Obaseki is the man who gives the orders to the vigilante that was majorly used to rob Edo State people of this election. Obaseki is the man who the police responds to, not me. The people that probably will go out and carry guns and disrupt elections and do everything, they are paid. They are not paid from Comrade Lante Bonsa's, what's it called, account. They are paid from the money made available by those in power. And who are those in power? It's the Obasekis. So at the end of the day, nobody is going to be looking at, even the NSEC chairman you are talking about right now, they are all under the beck and call of the government of Edo State. They are not independent, it's obvious. The House of Assembly, Obaseki came out talking about the feud between himself and Philip Shoaibu, and he was telling the people that he wanted a particular speaker for the House of Assembly. Why would his deputy prefer a different person from the person he wants? In an ideal situation, what is the business of a governor, any governor at that, with the officers of the House of Assembly? The only concern by any executive arm to hold the House of Assembly, put them in their pocket, is to ensure that the legislative arm do the bidding of the executive. Nothing more. So at the end of the day, it all points back to point zero. And again, for some of us to mention Governor Obaseki, I stand here with all due respect, and I'm able to say that. You understand? Maybe it's a credit or discredit. I am one of those who was very vocal en route to the governor's election because I believed in it. People are still calling my name, why, the people who sold it to us. The truth of the matter is that we must set somebody that we believe in. Given the way the election held in 2020, if it was again the same way, it is still very likely that we'll do the same thing over again.
Yeah, but Comrade Lamte, I'm going to stop you there. One of our viewers just put a statement. Buki Elizabeth. It says, "You people are talking. Obaseki is not the problem, please."
Yes.
How will you respond to that?
Yeah, I will respond to Buki. I have said earlier, I've expressed earlier that we are calling Obaseki because Obaseki is the head. But the truth matter is that we are all the problems, all of us. Okay, we are all part of the problem. Okay, but somebody must take responsibility for all of us. This is what we call Obaseki right here. Like we will call Tinubu when it comes to Nigeria right now. You understand the picture of what I'm saying now? Now, why are we all the problem? The last general election, 25th of February, where we saw, absolute robbery of democracy. The presidential election is still caught right now, contested, and all of that. APC was in power. Many people cry today, PDP members and all of them, okay, that cried that Tinubu did that. Many of them today are the ones who have come to Edo State to rob the people of their mandate when it came to House of Assembly elections. They are the ones who are happy right now. They have joined with Obaseki, and his government to rob the people of the local government elections. Because it suits them to do so here. So they don't see the problems. Now, when it was the presidential election, they are crying that, Atiku Prawara should have won. You understand what I'm saying now? But the people at the federal level use their power, you understand what I'm saying now, and their influence and their money to make sure that they put everybody under. So, overtly or covertly, we are all parts of the problems. And that is why some of us are taking the time, so much so, to try to conscientize our people to understand that we all have our own small roles to play. If we play our roles individually, diligently, and we combine our collective roles, there will be no actors to be used by the money bags and those in authority, like the Obasekis, for instance. And that will further help us to get it right. Because Obaseki is not the one running with the ballot boxes. People are. Now, again, on the flip side, we cannot completely heap too much blame on these same people. Okay? Some of them are there right now, like a case of my friend right now, like I talked about. You understand what I'm saying? And the last time I checked, he was not working. I'm not making excuses for him, okay? He was not employed by anybody, okay? I don't know how much he may have been enticed with right now to play along with whatever is happening right now, okay? This is probably somebody, and many people out there who they don't even know where the next bread is going to come from. And so when they get enticed, you understand what I'm saying? It's easier for them to cave in. And again, it now goes back to those in authority that have weaponized hunger, weaponized poverty, so that they can constantly get the people, at their beck and call. And so when all of this is happening, and people are advocating that, with the coup d'etat sweeping across Africa right now, maybe Nigeria may not be left out, in the very near future. So this is where we are.
Absolutely, Comrade Lamte. I'm indeed also very worried. I was going to take you to another point which you slightly touched on. That I have often said that the leadership is a problem, but when it comes to elections, it is the people. Governor Godwin Obaseki and indeed Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who are heads in different rights at the moment, they were not the ones that were involved in the election. It is we, the people. So if, Comrade Lamte, you are told, go and do this, and you stand to say, no, I won't do it, I'm told, go and do this, and I say no, obviously, no form of malpractice will happen. But because these people understand our problem, and like you said, they've weaponized everything that is bad, i.e., poverty, hunger, lack of education, and so we have no choice. I'm just looking at a case now. Next year will be a Edo State election.
Yes.
And if God or if the courts give judgment, and let's say, for example, APC is in charge, it therefore means that we can say go home, because by 2024 in Edo State, because APC will be in charge of the federal government, they will use their might and they will take over Edo State governorship elections. So people that are happy today for what has happened yesterday may also be crying tomorrow, and it becomes a case of adumadubodi, I sorry. But Comrade Lamte, I also want to say, without casting aspersion on the Edo State government, first time in history, local government elections is happening, and no form of public holiday, or will I say a restriction in movement, was allowed. And from the Edo State government, it is said that the elections yesterday were largely peaceful. Why are we sitting here crying foul when the elections indeed were largely peaceful? How did that come to you?
Governor Godwin Obaseki, it just so happened that this secularness is exposing a lot of things. This was a man I honestly believed in. Very intelligent person, very smart, very dedicated to duty. And I've made a case for him over time. We must be careful of people who have power and who have intelligence. If they commit their power and intelligence to good use, the nation certainly will rejoice. But if they commit it to evil, you will be dying and be praising them. Are you following what I'm saying now? If they commit it to anti-state activities, you will be crying and be praising them, believing that they are helping you. You understand? When the NSEC chairman, George Oyomiri, announced that there was going to be free movement, there was no restrictions and all of that, I suspected some foul play. I called, my brother, and I said, I'm very suspicious, because we have a peculiar system. And our peculiar system is such that we must have a definite timetable for our elections. This is not the Western world. You understand what I'm saying? Even in the Western world, in the UK, we still have a timetable. Even though there's free movement when the election is taking place, but we still have a timetable, a time frame for elections. Normally there should be a timetable. Election starts like this, accreditation starts like this, ends like this, voting starts like this, ends like this. You understand? Counting starts like this. Results are declared at the polling units at the ward level. You understand? The World Collation Center and everything. None of that happened. There was no, you've seen the reports everywhere, there were no materials anywhere. These were deliberately orchestrated. Now, what happened? Which was the strategy that they saw, they had planned? We announced it is free this thing, free day. no restrictions. Everybody should go about their normal duties and every other thing. Now, the strategy that was to reduce the power participation. And the only way that rigging can take place is if you reduce the power participation, because people will not be there at the polling unit level to ask you to hold you to ransom. You understand? And if people are not there, you have caught violence by 3/4. So what they did, they starved the electorate they disenfranchised them, starved them of voting materials, starved them of everything. Let me tell you a case in point. My brother contested this election. At about 1 o'clock, he put a call to a very high-ranking officer of INEC to say, what is happening? In our own local government, in different wards as this, there are no ballot papers, there are no INEC officials, there's no INEC official, nothing is happening. What is happening? And that one said, oh, we understand. We are just trying to recruit staff now in the course of an election going on. He has it on tape. It was recorded. So we are just trying to recruit some people right now, which meant that there was a game plan. And that was why in the local government, for instance, I was surprised that PDP was not campaigning. They were not really campaigning. The only people you saw actually do the campaigns and certain people was Labour Party. Because what was right there in the air is that don't bother now governor at the right hand. Don't bother now governor at the right hand. And the result that they have not declared showed very clearly that this was already a prepared, result, just waiting for the day to come and they announce. And I mean, the NSEC in Edo State did not make any publication, did not address any press conference to talk about election modalities. Not even once. So at the end of the day, they knew right from the get-go that this was what they were going to do. You understand the picture from saying that? So it's heartbreaking because the Bible says, seek ye first the kingdom of God and every other thing shall be added unto you. The kingdom of societal development anywhere in the world starts with those elected being held accountable and be answerable to people who elected them. The people, the mob is Rome. By the time political power is not rested in the hands of the people, forget about it. There is no way we can expect change. Not even Obaseki that we see today will bring that change. I believe Obaseki, I actually thought that with all of these things that we have known about Nigeria, Obaseki was going to be the man who was going to, strengthen all our institutions, strengthen our electoral system. We don't have any personal interest whatsoever. But my brother, it looked like, he learns very well. He has even better the things he learned. And the result is what we are seeing right now.
Yeah, but Comrade Lamte, thank you for your position. But Governor Godwin Obaseki is not contesting any election next year. I don't think he has a dog in the fight. I just want to read what Augustine Edoaye said. He said, I'm not part of the problem. Those in power in Nigeria are the problems. Any country that doesn't have electoral functional system
cannot move forward.
Cannot move forward. I'm just trying to bring it up so I can read it very well. I think it's gone now. I very much like that. I think that's very important. It's good for me to read it. He said, cannot move forward. And the likes of Governor Godwin Obaseki and his cronies in Nigeria that parade themselves as leaders aren't ready to fix it because it benefits them. I think that goes to the very act of the matter. Yeah. Friends and viewers of the Comrade Show, our lines will be displayed. We want to hear your views on what happened yesterday at the 2023 local government elections in Edo State. Remember, the local government is the arm of government that is very close to the people. And I believe that if we do get it right, leadership will be good going forward. Because local people are the people you see. I must say, I have friends who contested in PDP. In fact, I have a close friend who, by the virtue of this result, is chairman already. I have no grounds against anybody. What we worry about is the process. A team PDP and local government chairman returned with good elections will come here and we praise them. I'll begin to ask them for what they want to do. But a situation where there was no election as largely said by so many people, so many videos flying here and there. How do we justify this? Which way indeed, Nigeria, for a government that came into power to say that I want to have the rule of law and I want to do well. I think Governor Godwin Obaseki, this would have been the first test, and probably the governorship election next year will be the second test that we use to write his name in the sand of time. I love 18/18, but the process is very important. But the government have come to say that it's largely peaceful. Governor Godwin Obaseki himself voted at a Mokpai primary school, and that was well displayed. But the outcry of the people is really, really what matters. But Comrade Lamte, going forward, as we look forward to all this, what do you think this portends for Edo State? I'm just trying to situate it into the gubernatorial elections scheduled for September 2024, where Governor Godwin Obaseki will be handing over power. Already we know that there's already a serious dispute between himself and the deputy governor. But what implication? I just want you to I don't want you to talk about the issue of the deputy governor just now, but what implication or what does this portend for the election of September 2024, where Edolites will go to the polls to pick up a gubernatorial candidate?
I am really skeptical. I'm afraid as well. Because when you have people came out in this election, people came out, you know, in the few places where they put 100 ballot papers and every other thing, and there was a semblance of election in the local government, for instance, do you know that Labour Party still won all of them? Like not even -1. All of those places where they brought out 100 ballots, Labour Party still won all of them. But I think what has largely happened is that there's high voter apathy right now. I will not be surprised that in the next governorship election, we may not be able to count 100,000 people come out for the election because of this. Because for people who left everything yesterday to participate in this election and experiencing this, people they're just handing off, man. Like, you know, they're not interested anymore. Even me that is here, who is not on the ground, for instance, I am just right now fighting between should I continue on this campaign or should I just stop? You know, to be very honest, Nigeria's economy does not directly affect me. It affects me directly because I have interest in Nigeria. I have people in Nigeria who are very much dependent on me and all of those things. So if the economy is not doing well, it affects me. You understand what I'm saying now? You know, directly in that way. Otherwise, I can choose to close my eyes and say, man, whatever happens to Nigeria happens to Nigeria. It's not my business anymore. You understand the picture? I can choose that. I have a brother who, in fact, you know what here, he's not interested. Are you getting the picture of what I'm saying now? I'm talking of a blood brother. He doesn't want to hear anything concerning Nigeria. He's not interested. He has stuff. In fact, if I didn't listen self, I don't even have stuff for this man. He didn't laugh me. You understand what I'm saying now? Say you don't know what you are playing with. You will just kill yourself for nothing. You understand? Just that people are wired differently. But he's very much at peace. Okay? He does his things, book holidays to Canada today, to America tomorrow, enjoying himself. He's not, he doesn't know what happens in Nigeria. They ask me, man, what did they happen? What is it? You know, you understand me now? They give up all this, man. This is not what did happen. Oh, yeah? Really? Now, wow, this is Nigeria. Eh? Are you following what I'm saying now? And there are people like that. In his own, you equally classify that as apathy. This was a man who was working with Chevron Texaco more than like 15 years ago before he left Nigeria. Earning very well. But one day, he just took his wife, his children, you know, everybody came to get a house in the UK, came here, left Chevron Texaco, started work here as a security man, a doorman. And I asked him, say, bro, what is the problem? At the time he was leaving, I was in Spain. What is the problem, bro? Everybody was like, what's the problem? He said, every day, somebody's son or daughter who works with their company is kidnapped. Every day, a ransom of 15, 20, 30 million is asked for. Every day he's driving home. When he sees somebody in front of his gate or near his gate, he will drive past. Fear will not allow him because he doesn't know whether they are kidnappers. He was living in terrible fear. And one they said, man, if he continues like this, he may not live long in this country. And he found his way, got a family visa in the UK and every other thing, and moved here, started afresh. Today he's a British citizen. Are you following the picture from what I'm saying now? Everything paid well for him. His own manager, line manager, who was like, what do you think you are doing? You understand? Those days, since the last 3 or 4 years, they are the ones calling him now, begging him to show them the way that they themselves want to do the same thing. Because since the last 15 years, the country has not even, if it has gone worse than he left it. And so he asked me, why would I be interested in what happens in that country? Apathy. Nigerians trooped out on the 25th. They were robbed. By the time it came to the House of Assembly elections, they were not interested anymore. Now, some people try to muzzle and try to empower, try to encourage them to come out in local government elections, and now they have seen this. So my biggest fear is that no matter what the campaign or the preaching is going to be, we have probably run into the ditch where we will not have people come out for this election. And if people don't come out for these elections, it will profit the people in power more. Because it's only when people come out en masse, they can stand to defend their votes. You understand the people I'm saying? But if people don't come out, they cannot declare whatever they like as results. It will be easier. Now the governor can actually stand boldly to say there has been no report of any violence anywhere, no resistance anywhere, because there's been nobody on the ground. People came out in the morning in this election to come and vote. Okay, timetable was given 8 o'clock, be at the polling units. You understand what I'm saying now? By 1 o'clock, there were no materials. People went home. And so even the areas where they had some semblance of this election, they started, doing all of these things from 12-1, where a lot of people may have left and gone home. So there was no question. It was a free ride. And it was all planned to be like this. Make people less interested in participating so that they can have a free day. And that's exactly what we have seen. And to see that the man that many of us believe in, a man who many of us, saw as a model, is the man at the end of affairs right now. These things are happening for him. I listened to him yesterday, the governor. He said that he was getting reports from all across the states, from all the feeds. So he knew that election was not taking place in many of those places. And
I must stop you. A lot is happening on our comment section, and I want to take them. I think Osa's mayor is saying that Obaseki is finishing well. Edobo Otas Kelly, he says Obaseki knows if he conduct the election free and fair, he will not win a single local government area because Edo people have already rejected him. So all he could do is to sponsor boys for ballot box snatching. Edo State, I think that's gone now. I'm coming. If you have it, you can put it forward so I can read it.
Which one is that?
He said Edo State made a big mistake to elect such a man as our governor. And Osa's John Ogbede is saying, Lamte, you are 100% right. Obaseki should be held responsible for the local government election in Edo State. PDP should withdraw their case against Tinubu. Hence, they have done what Tinubu have done and done too. I just wanted to recap that just to get the feelers of people, especially those who are unable to phone. It's also good for us to read them so that you not be just a discussion between myself and yourself, but want to get feelers from Edo people. But I think many Edos are also very supportive of the governor. Some are saying that he's finishing well, and then here and there. But only time indeed will tell what the situation is. But I just wanted to stop you because you were making a very great point. When leadership is a problem and process of getting leadership becomes a problem, people become very disenfranchised and they lack interest. And like the example you were giving of a man who saw Nigeria now 16, 17 years ago and took that bold step. One would have expected that now that man will be regretting, why did I leave my own country? But he's even happy and getting feelers from people coming to say that, show us the way. Those of us in diaspora, we know the problems we suffer. No matter how well you are abroad, it's not your country. And sometimes you want to have a feeling. We all want Nigeria to be good. There is nobody against Governor Godwin Obaseki. There's nobody against Tinubu as a person. We are against the process and want our country to be better. That Nigeria will be better, and better it must, whether they like it or not. And well, I believe a time will come that these people in power will not be able to use anybody anymore. Comrade Lamte, just before we wind down on this issue of the Edo State local government elections, it will also be good for us to talk about, we've talked about it before, the crisis between the Edo State governor and his deputy, Comrade Philip Shaibu. I cannot verify this, but there's a video going on to say that Philip Shaibu has been relocated away from his office to another office along, I think, number 7 Osadebe Avenue. I know my feeling is that these things happen, but I'm not very happy the way Comrade Philip Shaibu and indeed the governor of Edo State are going about it. You've talked about it, we've talked about it as well in this show, but I think it's not right for us to begin to wash our dirty linens outside. But of course, if governance is all for work, I don't think people will be clamoring for this. But like you know, it's not for work, it's just for chop and chop. Somebody asked me, let's be frank, talking about Philip Shaibu. The former governor of Edo State was Adams Oshomole from Edo North. And he handed over about 7 years ago to Godwin Obaseki, who is a Benin man and from Edo South. How is it fair? For example, let's say Philip Shaibu is allowed to run, he has a right to run. How is it fair that he's going back again to Edo North? He should go back again to the same family that once handed over to Governor Godwin Obaseki. He's going back again to Edo North and he's going back to Isako again when there are other 3 local governments there. What is Philip Shaibu thinking about? Doesn't he have, like he said, he wants fairness for everybody? Where is the fairness in that case? Where is the clamor for equity, fairness, and justice? Above all, how will you take your principal to court to say, I want beat you tomorrow, court, help me? Are these not issues that make us look somewhat funny? Edo State is the cradle of black civilization. The 2 most important men in our state are fighting and dancing in the market square. Which way, Edo State, Comrade Lamte?
Well, power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts. Absolutely. The things you've just read out just now, we cannot mondo them together. They have to be treated separately. The issue of what is fair and what is not fair on Philip Shaibu is a decision by those state people. Okay? The relationship between the governor of Edo State and his deputy is a decision by the both of them. On the issue of who should be the next governor of Edo State, Philip Shaibu has a right. As a matter of fact, Philip Shaibu, with all members of his family that are qualified and his own village, they all have a right to contest election. The governor of Edo State has a right not to support Philip Shaibu as well. Now, what they don't have a right to do is to betray their oath of office. And their oath of office, as a matter of fact, I may want to put up something here, which I had that written out some time ago. In their oath of office, it says, there's something I underlined there. It said that I will not allow my personal interest to influence my official conduct or my official decisions. That I will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Now, the things that we hear, the deputy governor's aides have been disbanded. If they are true, it's abuse of, power on the part of His Excellency, with all due respect. Because ordinarily he has sworn that he will not allow his personal interest. Because disbanding this man, removing him from everything that he had, power over, every other thing, there are things that are rising from getting back.
Yeah, but I think we should use the word alleged. We don't know yet because
Yes,
Phyllis
that's what I'm saying. That's why I say if they are true as alleged. You understand what I'm saying? That it would be a matter of the personal interest of the governor, and it's allowing all of these things now to influence his personal interest. Now, Shuaibu taking his principal to court on a preemptive arrangement like that, like Oshomole said, he doesn't understand how a court will adjudicate over suspicion. That itself is a huge abuse of oath of office, because Shuaibu's aligned his personal interest to becloud his official judgment. You are taking your principal to court because you suspect that they are going to impeach you. And meanwhile, you have been elected, serving with your officer, with your principal, to serve at those people for 4 years. Ban, I mean, what's it called? The political this thing has not been lifted. There is no campaign attemptable act for governorship election, and you are going to court for what? So I think that there's a lot of abuse on all sides, and at the end of the day, those people are the people who are suffering. So I honestly, I share in the what's it called, the sentiment that Felix Shuaibu has no business contesting for a Edo State governorship election. I share strongly that sentiment. As a matter of fact, for the next 30 years, okay, anybody from his own clan have no business contesting. I mean, being the next governor of Edo State. But they have a right to contest in every electoral window. But it remains for Edo State to make the case for Edo State people that these guys should not be given the mandate as far as the governorship in this thing is concerned. Because people must understand that there should be balance, there should be equity. Everybody knows where the discussion should be around. Are you following what I'm saying now? But again, all of these things are different subjects as they stand. But having to now start this kind of fight, sometimes they bring the fight to the public to disturb public, our own public, what's the consciousness and every other thing, to create a debate, distracting us from the main stories of Edo State that are more developmental, that are more progressive. That is a problem, really, in itself. Talking about it is really, really. I'm supposed to be spending this time. I'm going to work tonight. You know that. I'm supposed to be spending this time looking at very more constructive things about Edo State, but we are looking at very flimsy issues, driven by the personal interests of the people that we have empowered to oversee our collective patrimony. It's unfair and it's not nice. And may I, with all due respect, sir, may I correct one impression? For comments, I keep hearing people say, comrade, were you not the one who sold Obaseki to us in 2020? Were you not this? Were you not that? Look, people, for the people who are making this statement, let me quickly appeal to you guys. Not appeal, let me quickly speak to your sensibilities. I have a right to make a case for anybody I believe in at any time. It is the person's right to do what is right or what is wrong. I will not take responsibility for a leader who I support and believe in and who sold the agenda that is coming to come and make Edo State all right. If the leader decides not to make Edo State all right, I will not take responsibility for his failure. Because if he succeeds, I'm not going to take responsibility for his success as well. But I will always, as an Edo indigene, stand my ground. If I'm convinced about a candidate, I will always support the candidate. The candidate has a right to decide whether he wants to succeed or not. Besides that, I am not the political party who brought Obaseki out. If Obaseki election of 2020 was to take place again, given the same environment, the same context, and every other thing, Obaseki was the right man, was the best man came out in 2020 that I saw, and I supported him. Why will you put blame on me because Obaseki is the governor of Edo State? If Isaiah Yamu had been the governor of Edo State and all of this nonsense is happening, you think I'll come and put blame on you? I won't do that. So if you want to blame somebody, you take the blame directly to the governor. I supported the governor right now. You understand what I'm saying now? Right now, I am calling the government to account. My support is not transactional. I have not gone to Edo State to go and collect 20 million naira to be shouting, what is it called? They call it finishing well. I have not gone to Edo State to go and collect money to be shouting finishing well all around social media. And I have made the case that it will be in our own collective interest for Obaseki to finish well. As a matter of fact, I pray every day that Edo State people are able to resolve and agree that Obaseki has finished well. But and I equally recall that we have had two outstanding governors in Edo State. Ogbemudia stands as the best, acknowledged not just by Edo State people, but the whole of Nigeria, if not this whole world. The same thing with Ali. Today, even the Obaseki we are talking about right now, the semblance of development that we are seeing is building on what Ogbemudia left. Look at the secretariat. And some of those things, they are all building on the structure of Ogbemudia or Ali, as the case may be. But I am very sure, I did ask my uncles that are alive, that those State people were, Bender State people were not inundated with Ogbemudia finish well, Ogbemudia finishing well. Bender State people were not inundated with Ali finishing well, Ali finishing well. At the end of their tenure, the people knew that, wow, we have had the best. And those guys have been immortalized in the heart of all Edo State people. And I'm only saying that people should not use sycophancy, or sycophants should not plaster Edo State people with this axiom of Obaseki finishing well. Let the work of Obaseki speak to us. If Obaseki is going to be judged by the local government election that just took place right now, as far as I'm concerned, as much as I love and I respect him and I've supported him over the years, Obaseki is not finishing well. If I'm going to go judge by local government elections, if I'm going to judge by repositioning of the state civil service, Obaseki is rock solid, finishing well. So there are things that we can come to say, man, yes, this governor has done well in this. But there are so many other structural things that we can say, man, we are not happy. So don't plaster me or anybody in Edo State with this axiom, because it is not the singing or finishing well that's going to make Obaseki finish well. It is the work. My father used to tell me, say, if you ask an Ishan man who's a hunter, you ask him, say, what did you kill? He will not tell you rabbit or antelope or grass cutter. He will say, looking for ground. Because that is the product of what he killed. You see it and you attest to it. That is the way we are tested to Ali. That is the way we are tested to Samuel Ogbemudia. So even the governor coming out to say, what we are concerned about now is finishing well, finishing well, finishing well. Excellency, do your job. Today, the issue of federal roads in Edo State is a very huge issue of controversy. Even the state roads that are bad, and we have committed Obaseki for attending to state roads, many of them have gone bad. Nobody has taken camera to those places now to go and show us how bad some of those roads are because of the bad quality of work that was done by the contractors. And I've not heard that anybody's been held to account. That you travel in some part of Edo State, you see a signboard. I don't know if it is government that put it there. They say, bear with us. This is federal road. And yet, accidents are happening in those bad spots. People are losing millions of naira of goods and services. And people are even dying. Some of them have become, traps. The other day, I was reading that this APC man, Denko, has gone to one part of this Ovia in Hawaii to go and use his own federal district to try to put palliative measures. And yet my governor is standing out there to say that he was not allowed by the federal government to deal with federal roads. And the current minister of works, what is his name? This former, is it a boy governor, has come out to say, even if it is WhatsApp message, send me and I will respond to you. I probably would have supposed to be here, and even if it's politics, to see my governor saying, I have gone to David Umahi to say, look, how do we solve this? This is what we have discussed. You are the chief of everything in Edo State, and you are telling us that the federal government have asked you not to do the roads in Edo State. I don't know how that come across. It has not come across to me very well. So the issue of bad roads in Edo State right now, if Edo State government is going to be judged by that, it becomes questionable whether we're having a governor who's going to finish well. Meanwhile, we are seeing other state. What is his name? The current Abuja federal minister for Abuja, Wike. As much as we may dislike him, invited Tinubu to his place, was commissioning, a federal project, and was asking Tinubu in advance to say, look, I have spent my money, state money, to do these roads, but these are federal roads. And Tinubu replied, saying, you cannot cajole me. You will lobby me to get what you want in this regard. We can have the same in Edo State, isn't it? Because these roads affect even Edo State people the most. But even at that, even if we have to leave the federal roads, how about the numerous other state roads? Uwelu area. What is the name? Ekenwa Road has been under construction for almost forever. And so many others that attack state roads that are having issues, if that's the case. In any case, I don't judge any government performance by roads. But the reason why Obaseki's own, my governor's own, catches the eye is that this is a government, I don't know whether he has it now. Previously, he had a commissioner for roads and bridges. And I begin to ask myself, what was that for? You understand what I'm saying now? If you have to give attention to, say you have a commission, a Ministry of Road and Bridges, and you have a commissioner, and we are discussing road issues in Edo State like this, then it calls for questioning, to be with all due respect.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Comrade Lamte. We've said enough about that. Looking at the comment section, I can see that so many people have things or two to say. And the support of Governor Godwin Obaseki by many Edos that time was born out of the issue of wanting to fight godfatherism. I supported Governor Godwin Obaseki and through the Comrade Show platform because we felt godfatherism would take us backward. And so many people believed in Governor Godwin Obaseki. So if you believed in Governor Godwin Obaseki and in your view you think he has not performed up to the standard that you set, you have every reason to question him. I don't think anybody is wrong on that. And for those who also believe in Governor Godwin Obaseki, who in their view think that he is doing very well, he surpassed their expectation, and he should finish well, I think they have their own right as well. But what is not good for us Edos is to come into any platform to begin to criticize people that are against, that have an alternative view about it. All of us are all measured by different standards. And I must also say that I have been part of the Comrade Show when all this all started. For people that are making comments, I never received any money from the Edo State government. I don't think Comrade Lamte and indeed any member of the Comrade Show received any money from the Edo State government. I don't think anybody in Nigeria can give me any money. And we are not saying all this because we want personal money, but we want the betterment of Edo State. And any money that is given to you now, at some point you are going to finish eating the money. What happens next time? So the support, some of us even spent our own personal money to support Governor Godwin Obaseki.
Sorry, sir. Not some of us. We spent our money.
And I want Governor Godwin Obaseki to finish very well. If he does, it will be to the benefit of me, you, and everybody. It's not going to be only Governor Godwin Obaseki that will benefit. In fact, Nigeria indeed would benefit. The government is a public thing and it has to be discussed. So, friends, viewers of the Comrade Show, let's not die in their war. Let us just only speak truth to power. Let's not insult anybody. Let's not cast aspersion on anybody. Nobody is important than the other. And I believe that when Governor Godwin Obaseki leaves office, then we can truly say if he has finished well. Because by then, the books will be open for everybody. So finishing well for the governor has got nothing to do with tribe. It's got nothing to do with person. We just want Edo State to be good. If you knew what Edo State was before Governor Obaseki came in, and you can go back and see where it is now, and if in your judgment you feel it's done well, hurrah! But if you have that point where he came into power and you've gone to check and to see that he hasn't done well, hurrah! All we can only do is just say. And like what Comrade Lamte said, if people come to fore to vie for positions, you only judge them based on what they say they want to do. Whether they will do it is a different kind of thing. So there should be no regret whatever you stand for where you are supported. What is important is indeed Edo State. So, Comrade Lanti, as we begin to round up, I just want us to just have about 5 minutes to talk about what is happening in West Africa, Gabon, as a case study. Few days ago.
Sorry, sir, before you go to Gabon, I it's very insulting sometimes to hear people say, and this is the meta, and it's part of what the politicians have created. When you get committed to a cause you believe, we have not been so mentally debased, to believe that when you are committed to a particular cause and you are chasing it, particularly supporting people like these, the sense of belief that, oh, you must have collected money, and all of that is part of the same whole, moral decadence, as a society. And that is why I am so glad where I stand right now. I don't do transactional support. If I did, I probably would still be overlooking everything and drumming support and being happy, what I'm saying now, and all of that. So for those who probably look, man, we, like you said, we want to be as dispassionate as possible. I don't owe you anybody. I don't owe you anything. I don't owe anybody anything. So I will always speak my mind the way I feel it, whether I'm right or I'm wrong. You understand what I'm saying? I will. It is my responsibility to bear. You understand? But for people who may have compromised, okay, it will become very difficult to speak the other way. You understand? I've waited for a long time. This is not to say, I'm not making any case to say, for instance, that Obaseki has not done well. What I'm only saying that we have areas, and very many areas, where we have questions. And there is still 1 year to go. And I think that the government can still make a whole lot of difference. You understand what I'm saying now? In so many areas that, are right on the manifesto, things promised directly by the government. And we want to see them. And if we see these things working to a reasonable extent, then we are happy. We will probably join the same bandwagon at the end of the day to say, yes, thank God this man has done very well. But bro, let me shock you. You know where my problem really is? Okay? Where my problem really is even in the future. The Obaseki that we are talking about right now. Do you know that the way Nigeria is wired and currently with the way things are going, do you know that after Governor Obaseki in the next 2 to 3 years, okay, whoever is going to come, if the person does not, you understand what I'm saying now, convincingly convince the people that this person is actually meant to work with those people are going to turn around to start seeing, all of the good in Obaseki. Just like we had one Buhari, so as president, who was, to me, the worst we have ever seen in the history of this country. And somebody else was packaged, sold, brought, selected, and put there to replace Buhari. And somehow it just looked like Nigeria has taken, the turn for the worse. When we ought to be getting better. I don't know whether you get what I'm saying. So somehow it looks like the country is always going from battle with successive administrations.
Well, we have to make sure we stop that if we are to go forward. So, friends and viewers of the Comrade Show, thank you so much for being part of the program today. But just Comrade Lamte, as we round up on just a one-liner, what is happening to Africa and West Africa? Just a one-liner on Gabon, please.
I don't think we've seen the last. I think, as a teaser, I did post a comment. I'm here to hear ECOWAS talk about Gabon. ECOWAS has been very busy with Niger Republic, going to war with Niger. I'm here to hear what they want to say about Gabon. And I'm here to hear what ECOWAS is going to say about Cameroon. With the 100-year-old Cameroonian president, is he 100 years old? You understand? Cameroonian president who practically is unfit to have a life, but is hugely subjugating the Cameroonians. And he has gone out to reshuffle the military, cabinet and every other thing and all of that. So I'm here to hear what ECOWAS, will be saying concerning, Cameroon. You understand the picture of what I'm saying now? So I think I'm just waiting to because the last we have not heard. You understand? But if ECOWAS must go into Niger Republic, they must take a serious look at Pobia of Cameroon. They must equally go into Gabon. They must go into all other places where we have had military interventions and every other thing. and all of that. But I think again, this speaks to exactly what we're experiencing in Nigeria: flawed electoral processes, corruption, limitless corruption, all of such things that are characteristics of our own political system right now is what is prevalent there. So at the end of the day, he who must come to equity must come with clean hands. Nigerian government president is the head of ECOWAS right now and every other thing. He's a president that is questionable. His seat is questionable and everything is questionable. Yet he's the one spearheading. You understand? So the arrangement to go and interfere with Niger Republic. We have a huge block, a huge rock on our eyes that we cannot see, and yet we are seeing the speck in another country. So, my brother, I am waiting for ECOWAS to make their statement. Otherwise, what is happening in Gabon, my brother, in as much as I detest, a coup d'etat, I detest military intervention and every other thing, bro, when there's too much dirt in the soup, the blind will begin to see. That's exactly what is happening in Gabon. And so I have no query at all.
Thank you so much, Comrade Lamte. Friends and viewers of the Comrade Show, that's a fine place to leave it. Today's show has been very, very interactive. We've looked at Edo State and the just concluded 2023 local government elections. And from the feelers that we get from so many people are not happy because elections did not take place in so many places. But as it is, the Edo State INEC has already declared the election successful and concluded, and 18/18 for the People's Democratic Party, a party that is in charge of governance in the state. Maybe APC and Labour Party might be going to court. We have an example set already at the national level. But in all, we think that good governance is the way to go. And if we are to stop maladministration and coup going on across Africa and indeed West Africa, all of us must put our hands together to do right. Nigeria and indeed Africa and indeed Edo State is suffering from leadership. And once we get leadership right, everything will be straightforward. I want to thank all of us that have made contributions today. If you want to know how relevant, how important today's interaction is, I will want you to check the comment section, because I think looking at comments on the comment section, I can see that many people across the country, and indeed from Edo State, are speaking their mind. Good governance is very important. We want our state to be better, and better indeed it must. Comrade posed a question earlier on to say that he needs help and advice for that gentleman. I hope our program today has answered partly that question. All of us are guilty, not only our leaders. We are leaders in our own right. Let us think first of our state. Let us think first of our country and try to do right. Until we come your way again next Sunday, stay well, stay out of trouble, and keep believing for a new Nigeria indeed is possible. Bye for now.
Comrade Show, Comrade Lamte Oriake. This is the Comrade Show.